Hey guys, welcome to Hey Guys, an internet obsessed podcast where we discuss all your favorite social media stars, what they're doing, and how we feel about it. I am your host, Amanda Hasika, a content producer for Instant, which basically means I keep my finger on the pulse of the internet at all times. And if you don't know what Instant is, it's a new media outlet and video platform dedicated entirely to covering digital creators. Today I'm joined by Instant editor John Ratliff.
Hello.
Jonathan, I use them very interchangeably. It depends on my mood. And then I'm also joined by our very special guest, Seano'donnell.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. We're so excited. So I don't know if you guys might have watched it, you might not have watched it. Sean and I were at Sky Zone recently for our lively show IRL. My back hurt so bad the next day.
My shoulders the next day. It was painful.
I think I didn't stretch or anything. I just got right on the trampolines and started jumping around. And then afterwards I was like, oh, I can't move my arm.
That was the most physical activity I'd done in a very long time.
Right? But that was so fun.
Was not smart.
Yeah. So we're glad to have you back. John, have you ever been to a Sky Zone or anything of the sort?
No.
Stretch before you do anything.
I would die.
Yeah. You gotta,
I'm in so much pain just from this weekend walking.
Yeah. John's nervous. He's very sunburnt right now.
I'm burnt.
You're not
he's
sunburned.
not. He just looked tan.
It's like you just look
Tan.
tan. I'm actually kind of annoyed.
You just look
I got
tan.
the sunglasses tan. It's great.
Oh, I did. Yeah, a little bit
My
here.
nose is so burned.
Oh,
I was burned.
It'll burn off. It'll
Yeah.
burn off. You're fine. Well, again, thank you for joining us. So, we had a really funny fan encounter actually at Sky Zone. We're literally we were live on Lively, and a fan showed up and was like, "Hi, I saw that you guys
I
were
live
here."
down the street.
That was wild.
That was
Do you have a
interesting.
lot of moments like that with fans, or?
It depends where I am. Like if I'm at the Grove or something, it's more common. Yeah, it just it's always very interesting. I don't think I'll ever get used to that. Because I'm still the small town kid from New York, and I don't think that'll ever change. So yeah, it's odd.
Do you have any I feel like that's probably a memorable one, but do you have any
That
other
was
ones
funny.
that super stick out in your mind where either was something funny or something crazy that happened?
There was one time in high school. I was a junior in high school, so this was 5-6 years ago now, and I was coming home from soccer practice with my brother, and this car pulls into my driveway at my house, and this girl gets out with my face on her t-shirt, and I was just like, what? I was so confused because I live in this tiny small town in New York, and it's such a small town that this girl and her parents, who drove her, went into the center of town, walked into my pizzeria, does anybody know where Seano'donnell lives? And half the town was just over there, and they just found my house.
out.
Yeah, I was ratted out by my hometown fast.
Oh my gosh.
That was funny.
Do you have anybody, who would you show up to their house wearing a shirt of them?
Oh man,
Anybody?
that's probably Obama.
Oh, Obama.
I do that for Obama.
Right. Same.
Probably.
Same.
Why not?
I'd probably do that for Oprah or something.
Oh,
Oprah,
yeah.
Or
I don't think we'd make it very close to those.
Yeah, those
true.
we picked the two hardest people to do that for. Yeah, exactly. That's actually very funny.
that's so funny. Is there so you were recently at the Billboard Awards.
Yes.
So I'm sure, you said Obama, but is there anybody else? Did you meet anyone during your time at the Billboard Awards that you had a fangirl moment or were really excited to meet?
I met DJ Khaled for a second,
my gosh.
which was just, it was hilarious. It wasn't a fangirl moment, but I was
Right.
just this is just
Is this real
funny.
life?
Yeah, this is just interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually freaked
Fangirl.
out over someone. I'm a very relaxed. Actually, that's not true.
lie.
That's a lie. I met Mary Poppins once.
Julie Andrews?
Yeah, Julie Andrews.
Oh my God.
Which was just that was the only time in my life I was ever
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. That was something
How did
else.
what was...
I was 15 years old and I was working in a store in the Hamptons, and she walked in to pick up her grandson, who was a coworker of mine. And I had no idea.
Oh my God.
It was the crazy. And then I'd met her multiple times because she kept coming to pick up her grandson.
Gosh. If Julie Andrews was my grandma, I would literally be like, "Hi, my name's Amanda, and my grandma's Julie Andrews."
Just
I would
introduce
tell
yourself
everyone I
every
knew.
single time. See, the thing is, I would too.
Right?
Yeah,
It's
no.
always those people.
Yeah.
I met Carol Burnett one time, and I've never watched Carol. I didn't.
Yeah.
I knew her
Yeah,
of
of
her,
course.
and my parents watched her. But she, what was that show on TV Land with Betty White?
Oh,
my God, I
Hot in
can't-
Cleveland?
Hot in Cleveland. So we know the producers of that. So
Yeah.
we went there a few times. And meeting Betty White's one thing too. But
Right.
then
Yeah,
we
of
sitting
course.
in the green room. They would always put us in the green room and watching and she came in and sat down next to me and started talking to me, and I was just like, yeah, I'm like, I don't know how to talk to Carol.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. So much pressure.
You get very tripped up.
Yeah.
Well, so were the Billboard Awards fun?
They were
good time?
actually surprising. I usually dread those things because
Yeah.
it's like 5 hours and it's very hot and you're
Yeah.
in like a suit.
Always hot. Those things.
It is
'Cause
so
it's in
hot.
Vegas, so.
It was in Vegas and it was blistering, but I was 2 rows from Celine Dion
Oh, wow.
for that whole performance, and now I literally could have flown in for that and then left, and I would have been worth it. So I was very excited.
I saw on Instagram that you like missed your flight or went to the wrong airport or something. What was
my
the deal with that?
Yeah,
I
to
saw
get
that on
to
Instagram
the
and I was
awards,
like, oh my gosh.
I woke up and just like, as I naturally do, because I travel a fair bit, got in my Uber to shuttle, and then I went to LAX, and I'm standing at the security woman to let me into security, and I have to check into my flight because I didn't do that because I was just not thinking about anything, and I was just like, it says Burbank. I'm standing at LAX. My flight leaves in an hour and a half.
That's probably not the. I feel like they see crazier shit than
Oh,
that,
absolutely.
You know?
But it was just
That's really funny.
No.
Well, so speaking of Instagram, you have a really good Instagram. Do you?
Thank you.
I enjoy it.
Thank you.
Do you?
I take pride in that.
I was gonna say, how do you kind of go about? Do you have like a strategy of how you post things, or like how do you kind of?
What I do, like if I have like a couple photo shoots, I'll take all those photos, and then I take photos that I take of just like whatever I'm doing, and honestly, I send them to my manager, and he schedules them out. Like he'll give me like the next like 40 days in advance, but I can post them at like whatever times and all that stuff. But I know like what I'm gonna post so that it's never like running dry on content, because that's like that's awful.
There's so much strategy to Instagram that people don't
So much.
think about. Like even in your own life, like it's just you got to think about. That's why I kind of like Instagram stories now, because there's less pressure there, where you can kind of just share whatever. But
I'm gonna rat my friends out. My friends who, I'll just tell one story. We stood at Coachella for probably 30 minutes at once. I mean, the set was still playing, and 2 of my friends took a photo, probably the same photo that we had taken like throughout the day, just because they didn't like how it was going until we got it exactly how it was that they could post it.
See, I don't do that.
It's like a little obsessive.
I don't take it that seriously.
It depends. I think sometimes like candid things or whatever can turn out like way better than you thought.
Oh, absolutely.
But to me, it's all about the caption too. You have to have like a good. I like short, concise, just kind of like to the point. You don't need to like get too.
It's Instagram,
wordy. Right? Exactly.
Unless it's like a significant moment, or but like still, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So that's so funny that you have your like 40 days planned out.
I do.
That's
actually,
so nice that someone does it
I know.
for you.
I know what I'm posting. I have 2 photos I have to post today, so I know exactly what I'm doing.
Keep an eye out for them.
Yeah, exactly.
How often do you do like your photo shoots? Would you say?
I usually have one every 2 weeks, and so they build up, and I usually have 3 or 4 like photo shoots in. I would say when I get my next batch of photos that I have to post from my manager, there's usually like 3 or 4 photo shoots in there. So I stay busy with that.
Comfortable in front of the camera?
Absolutely not. It's very awkward for me.
I see people who like do that kind of stuff, like people who like do the very strategic like Coachella poses, and I'm like, I just don't think I was like born with that. I can't
do that. No. I kind of am forced to do it, unfortunately. Yeah. Like I had a photo shoot last week at sunset in Runyon Canyon with like the entire world watching me stand there and take photos, and I just wanted to die.
This is LA though, you know. They
see, that was the thing.
See that all the time. They don't think twice.
The photographer was from Brussels, and she hadn't spent a lot of time in Los Angeles, and she was making jokes about that, and I was just like, don't worry. No one's looking at us twice because it's Los Angeles. And everyone's so used to this crap. Like, come on. I
was in Brussels like earlier this month. Actually,
why?
Randomly.
Why were you in Brussels?
I traveled there for so I was in Europe. I was in England. My younger sister is getting married, and her fiance is from England, and so we had an engagement party out there. And while we were over there, we went to Belgium. We went to Bruges for a few days, and then we went to Brussels.
Nice.
So Bruges was I liked Bruges.
My brother loved Bruges.
It was beautiful. It was like everything you would think a European town.
Yep. Sadly, I have not been.
Yeah, I would suggest Bruges over Brussels if you were gonna go. But both places have lots of chocolate and French fries and beer. So
really, that's all you need in life.
Yeah. So, are there any Instagram trends that you're like not into, that you like refuse to participate in?
Oof.
Or just like styles of Instagram.
It's hard to say because like I feel like I'm going to insult a lot of people that I know.
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
You know? But a lot of people are trying to do funny videos and make like sketches and whatnot. And some of them are very good. Credit where credit is due. But some of them are just a little painful to watch. And
like
I'm
just
just
because
like,
you have access to a camera and like an internet connection to upload it doesn't mean
like I'm totally supportive of trying to like, if that's what you're passionate about, like go for it. Just put some time and work into it.
Right.
That's like my only piece of advice because
my favorite tip for anybody listening, if you're not already doing this, some of the best Instagram stories and Instagram content out there is Busy Phillips. She's an actress. She was on like Freaks and Geeks and she's in White Chicks. There's just something about her Instagram stories that are just so funny. Like she doesn't put a lot of, like she just kind of grabs her camera and like talks to you and I feel like she's like my best friend now, and I just feel like I'm so invested. Like she
every
went on,
single day you're checking.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, hold on, guys, I gotta watch my Busy Phillips Instagram story. Like she went on a Disney cruise with her family, and it was just the funniest thing ever. Yeah. It was so good.
See, I wish I could do that. Yeah. My manager wishes I could do that because I'm just not funny, so I don't have like the confidence to just talk into my phone like that.
See, but I think with like your photo shoots and stuff, like the more you do it, the more you kind of just get used to it, and the more comfortable.
Terribly
you feel.
true.
I'm also very aware of what I find funny is not funny to anybody.
That is more. That's probably more true than anything.
So I just don't post anything because I'm like, no one's going to get what I'm saying.
Or what you think is like interesting. Is not going to be interesting to everybody.
Exactly.
So you have to be strategic that way, but at the same time, you sort of like want to be authentic. So it's like if you have something you want to say, you should just say it or do it or whatever.
Yeah, it was funny. Last week I did a big event for a video game because I'm just a huge nerd, and I've never really posted about like video games because I'm just like. Yeah. I'm just going to nerd out in front of all these people. I don't want to do that. But I posted some stuff on my story and I got this response of all these people like, I've never seen you so happy. And I was just like, oh God, this isn't good. This is not good.
That's so funny.
Yep.
How do you sort of balance, and this is something we probably all deal with, but like, capturing things for social media and posting them on social media, but also just kind of experiencing them in real life and just.
I'd like to say I'm actually pretty good at that balance because that's probably the thing I'm most strategic with. Like I went to a jazz and reggae festival yesterday at UCLA, and I walked in and I took like 3 pictures and like a video and I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, because if I'm honest, I hate social media.
Yeah.
Because it like gets in the way of a lot of experiences for me.
Yeah.
But it also allows me to experience a lot of things. So I'm pretty thankful on the other side. So I really I'm not the person at Coachella with like my phone up for like 3 hours. Like I can't do that.
Well, that's good.
That would kill me.
That's a healthy mindset to have. I think I think more people kind of need to have that.
I picture my mother just like smacking my phone out of my hand because that's what I grew up with. So it's just not a thing for me.
I tried to do that this weekend. I literally was being very conscious of how much my phone was out, how much like all of us were taking photos, and I just kind of paid attention to the crowd. Like there wasn't a lot of phones up.
That's nice.
So then I would put mine down, but I was like, still need to make sure I took photos. Like did it because I think at Coachella I took like 1 photo, and so I missed. And I'm like, oh, I didn't do any of this stuff. But like.
Because you want to capture memories and you want to
I took some photos,
but at the same time,
I just don't let it get in the way of my life.
Right. The good news is I had no reception, so I couldn't post. Where
were you?
I was at Lightning in a Bottle.
Oh, okay.
So it was like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
so
of course.
We had no phone reception really at all, so I couldn't post. But I could still get the
That's
picture
still nice
and the
at
video,
least.
and then like.
It is sort of nice when you're forced to like unplug like that. Like when I was in Europe, I didn't have like a data plan, so I could only connect to Wi-Fi. I will say the one frustrating thing about that was sometimes because I was visiting a lot of like historical places and doing a lot of sightseeing, and so you'd be curious about something and you'd want to like look it up. And you're like, I guess I just won't.
I forget this from 8th grade. So.
Or you're like, oh, I want to know more about this. You're like, I guess I won't.
Yep, not happening.
So I feel like that's one of the nice things about being connected is you can like learn more and explore more. But
being forced to be unplugged was kind of like.
It's so nice.
It was nice.
I love it.
I told you I had one moment where I had one signal where I could reply to an email, and then it cut off. I just got cut off.
And you're like,
and
so free.
At first I was like, oh my God. And it was like, great. The next day I was like, great.
Yeah.
I didn't take my phone out hardly at all.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I feel like we're a pretty good team in that sense where like we check our emails, but it's not anything like
dire.
Yeah, it's not like you wake up every morning with like 40 emails and have to like answer to all of them right away, which is nice. So one of your BFFs with Jordan Doww, who's like one of our favorite people. Babe. He's so funny.
See, he's funny. I wish I was that funny. Yeah, exactly.
He has the skills. So you guys do a lot of like skits together. So how does that come about? Does he sort of, come up with a concept and come to you? Do you guys work together?
His skits are all him. Can't take credit at all.
He's gonna show up.
Yeah, he'll basically bring like a 95% of an idea, and then he'll come at me and say like, hey, this is my idea, and then if like we tweak it a little bit, that's like the only real collaborative thing. Or when we're actually filming and we go, this isn't landing, this isn't funny, then we'll work on it there. But it's all Jordan. Yeah. I mean, Jordan's the best.
Do you improv at all, or do you just stick to his script?
No, we definitely improv, because that was really how like our relationship came about. We just kind of met each other and just started riffing with each other, and it was hilarious. So whenever we're together, we're just kind of making jokes and seeing what's funny, because we want to work together, like in a serious manner down the road. And so we're trying to write a show together, and it's majority of it him, but like he'll email me and he'll be like, oh, I got all these ideas, let me know what you think. And we go back and forth, and we just it's silly, it's madness. Really,
I think that's so smart, because I think a lot of people, like a lot of actors, will talk about how there's no roles for this kind of person, there's no roles this or that. But if you want to be working, like write it yourself, put pen to paper and just kind of create what you want. Like Amy Schumer has talked about that a lot, where she's like, you need to learn how to write. I feel like any actor or performer, like that's something, I mean, you don't have to be the best at it, or like,
no, but it helps you appreciate the other side of the script as well, instead of just like
showing up and
getting in the mind of a writer is just a much different place than the mind of an actor. And I mean, thankfully I have kind of a foot in the door above most people, just because of the following that I have. So I have been writing over the last year some projects, because I go, let's see where it goes. Worst case scenario, nothing happens, and I'm exactly where I am now. So it doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah, certainly. I feel like that's the beauty of the internet and kind of like digital creators, is you can just make whatever you want, and you can put it up on the internet, and
someone might love it.
Totally.
You never know.
Are you guys working on anything new right now, or?
We are.
Oh, you said you were working on that show.
Yes, that is the thing we're working on together.
Like the main thing.
Yeah, it's I don't know if
I was gonna say, you don't have to tell us too many details.
I feel like Jordan's gonna like show up at my door and just like hit me.
You don't have to tell us too many details.
I literally see him every weekend. So
you do?
I do see him out most weekends.
Yeah. That's not surprising. I think all of West Hollywood sees Jordan out every weekend. But no, we're working on a show together. And it's starring the two of us in like a quirky relationship together. And it's just all the shenanigans we get into, and the love and drama and real life that comes with it. So very excited.
That's fun.
Yeah, it is.
So obviously you guys are pretty big into like the digital kind of space, digital scene. Is there anyone that you would love to collaborate with, like either on this show or on another project? Like people that you enjoy following and whatnot.
Rudy Mancuso.
Oh, okay.
I don't follow a lot of like social media people at all. It's just not my thing. But he to me has always been someone that stood out as like a genuine talent in so many different facets. And I just respect his work ethic a lot, I think, is what I go down to. Because he started off
on Vine, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like
I never had a Vine, so like I was never a part of that world.
I feel like he was one of the people who has been able to like take his Vine.
He's opening for Justin Bieber on his world tour.
Exactly.
Like he's doing it. So good for him. Yeah, seriously.
What do you think is like the biggest difference between, because it sounds like you do a lot of your own writing, kind of creating your own content. What's one of the biggest differences between creating content yourself and working with content that other people have written and created? Like, is there a downside to either, or?
I think there's a downside to both. Because I think the hardest thing about like creating your own content, like I've been writing a script recently, just myself, and it's been months of working with a writer and all this stuff, and I've just been so fearful that my type of vision won't come across how I want it to, and that is like terrifying because it's like my baby. You know, I've worked on this script for a couple of years now, so that is horrifying. But also coming from me, it's way more personal instead of someone giving me something, and that I think that helps a lot personally. Totally. I could be wrong. I could just be a bad actor for saying that, but that's just my take on it.
That's right. Which, speaking of, you actually have a movie, MamaBoy. Is it out already?
It is out.
Okay, it's out. It is on video on demand, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can find it on iTunes, all that loveliness. Yeah.
So basically, it's a story about how you're a high school.
I love watching people try to explain this. This is great, honestly. Keep going.
So you're in high school. And you are like I watched the trailer, so it's like your girlfriend gets pregnant, but then you carry the baby.
Nailed it! Wow,
it's the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
So what was it like filming that? Was it fun?
It was a lot of fun, actually. It was my first like real gig, and it was a lead in a feature film, which I was super excited about. And the first time I read the script, I was like, what? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then I read it like again and a third time. And I really fell in love with a lot of the aspects of my character being very selfless and just who he is. But being pregnant was not easy.
There's a line where he's like, how hard can it be?
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh. The classic male line. Yeah. Every single time I said that line that day, like all of the women on the crew were like, oh,
big
they're just gross. Yeah, it was great. But I have it was bad. Yeah. Just being pregnant was just so uncomfortable.
That's probably awkward. Was the belly like heavy or what?
It actually wasn't. Okay. Thankfully, I had a special effects and prosthetic artist, this woman Nicole, who was unbelievable. But it like wrapped around my body, had to be glued to me whenever we were doing like those types of scenes, and it was about a pound. It was just made of foam.
Oh, okay.
But
it wasn't like a real...
No, but it started to like itch underneath it, and I couldn't get to it, and I was dying. That was like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was terrible. Ugh.
So your character is like a jock, right?
He's like, captain of the baseball team. Yeah. He's got like the perfect family. He's got a beautiful girlfriend. He's got everything going for him.
Was that similar to your high school experience, or
carrying a baby?
Yeah, carrying a baby was very method. I was, my school was tiny. Like, I graduated with 50 kids in a public school.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. I graduated with like 500.
Tiny. It was like the smallest school ever. So I knew every single person.
I was going to say, well, no wonder people knew exactly where you lived.
Exactly. That's what I meant. Like, it was the smallest town ever. But because it was such a small school, everyone had to do everything or else they wouldn't survive. So, like, I did everything, you know, plays and choir and soccer and all that stuff. It was so small we didn't have a football team. We couldn't have one. So we never got to experience like Friday Night Lights or anything like that.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. My college didn't have a football team. What? So yeah.
Actually, one of the colleges I was looking at didn't have a football team either. So that's funny.
Everyone joked that it was like the Chico drinking team. And like we didn't have a football team, we had like a drinking team.
That's awesome. So it was kind of like high school.
Yeah.
A little bit,
more or less.
Yeah.
So you guys filmed it in Northern California.
Yes.
Which is cool. I'm from Northern California.
Where are you from?
I'm from the East Bay. I'm from Livermore.
Okay.
So, but you were in like Placerville, which is like Sacramento.
We were in Sacramento, like right outside in El Dorado Hills and whatnot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which was right near. It was right during all of the wildfires 2 years ago.
Oh wow.
So like we were trying to film and there was just all this smoke rolling through set and like it was terrible. But yeah.
I also read that you guys visited some children's hospitals while you were filming.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
That was a tough day.
Yeah.
I just have hospitals for me. Whoa.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah.
My sister, when she was really young, when she was like in a children's hospital, she was in a hospital for months and months and months. She had like brain surgery when she was tiny.
Oh my gosh.
And so that smell just stuck with me ever since I was really little, and she was there because we were there like every day for months. So that was like just being in there was super difficult, but all these kids were just like the happiest kids ever. It was I
mean I can't even like watch that kind of stuff.
I know, and I was sitting there.
It's too emotional.
Oh yeah, that was difficult. Great. It was awesome though.
So obviously you're in this movie. When did the acting bug kind of bite you? Like, have you always known that this is what you wanted to do?
No. I remember being really young and being like, that'd be fun, you know, but it was never something like, this is like the worst actor thing to say, but I never woke up every day going like, oh, I want to be an actor, because I meet people that are like that, and I feel like such a schmuck for saying otherwise. But when I was a senior in high school, I got an opportunity to come out for the summer, and like go to some auditions and all that stuff. And I just never went home, really. But I love acting, don't get me wrong at all. I fell in love with The Parent Trap when I was younger with Lindsay Lohan.
Movie.
Oh, one of the best.
I didn't know that was a Nancy Meyers movie, which Nancy Meyers did, like, It's Complicated.
Yeah, of course.
Which is like one of my favorite movies. And I was like, looking back on it, I'm like, well, no wonder, it's a perfect movie.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
and I mean,
yeah,
it's Lindsay Lohan.
Right.
It was. Yeah. So that was what made me fall in love with movies. And I just remember watching that endlessly with my siblings. My parents are divorced, and so like that was the dream when I was 5 years old. My parents gonna get back together in this beautiful moment, you know. So The Parent Trap was such like an amazing movie for me.
Wish fulfillment.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was just like, if I can make a kid happy in just any movie that I do, like that movie did for me, then what else do I need? So that was really the end goal.
If you weren't acting or like, you know, creating content and whatnot, what do you think you would be doing?
I wanted to be an architect my entire life. I wanted to design houses.
Build lovely buildings like the ones behind us.
Exactly. That was like my first birthday gift. I was like 8 years old. I got a drafting board and I learned how to do blueprints and all that stuff.
At 8 years old?
I loved
what
it.
What a mature gift.
I know, it was weird.
I was getting like dolls and shit.
Yeah. My dad was an architect
okay.
and like contractor and whatnot. I love designing houses. So that's probably what I would do.
Yeah. Do you have like an artistic side to you? Like in terms of like drawing or like, because, you know, writing is an art, and obviously it sounds like you write quite a bit, but is there like a...
I'd like to think so. I'd like to say I'm pretty well versed in a lot of things, just because my parents like forced us to be when we were children. Like my mother, it was her 48th birthday last year. Sorry, Mom. But all she wanted was a coloring book. And so like, I got her a coloring book, and she was sitting, no, it was Christmas, I'm sorry. And she was sitting at the dinner table Christmas night with her coloring book and some colored pencils, like a 4-year-old just going at it. And so we were raised like, I wouldn't say I'm the best at drawing. I think I can paint pretty well, into photography, all that stuff. But we were definitely raised with the whole, gotta be well versed in the arts, because my parents believe that makes a pretty well versed person. So
and wait, it was your birthday a couple days ago, right? Or recently?
2 days ago.
2 days ago. Happy belated.
Thank
What'd
you.
you do?
Literally nothing.
Literally nothing.
Yes.
Yeah, it gets harder when you get older. Birthdays are little.
My sister's is the day before mine.
Yeah.
So we always shared birthdays, but we always end up doing something for her, and she had a night. She had a night. Okay.
You enjoyed herself?
So the next day was rough. So my birthday, we didn't really do much. I stayed home. I played some video games and I had some fried chicken for dinner. And that was really all I wanted.
That sounds like a great birthday.
I was very content.
John and I, our birthdays we're like 1 day apart.
1 day apart.
And then we have another editor on the team who's hit. So my birthday's April 9th.
Okay.
John's is April 10th. And then we have another editor who his is April 11th. So it's just like
just
boom,
what happens.
boom, boom.
It's a fun time in the office.
I know. We got donuts to celebrate. It was great.
My sister did the same thing.
Yeah.
Krispy Kreme like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
She took my car. I was like, thanks. Didn't even tell me.
Yeah. We had Dunkin'. There's a Dunkin' around the corner, so.
There's Dunkin' here?
Yeah.
That's such an East Coast thing. There's like no Dunkin' Donuts here.
Yeah.
I think
Dunkin'. I'm from
Dunkin's...
Cincinnati. We had Dunkin' everywhere.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I've seen one near LAX.
I think they, a bunch came to LA like 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
They started popping up.
And then
gotta
like there was
find
one in
some.
Santa Monica, which I kind of lived by that one. And I remember driving past it and seeing the line just be out the door.
Yeah, exactly.
And now the novelty has worn off. Even
course.
I'd say within the first like couple months.
Yeah.
And then
It's just Dunkin' Donuts. But like, it makes me happy because the
worst
East
part is
Coast.
it's literally Soul Cycle and then Dunkin'.
That's awesome.
it's like, which do you want?
That's not an option.
Just cancels each
Forget
other
Soul
out.
Cycle.
Is there anything else? Anything else you want to discuss?
We discussed a lot. Oh my
We
gosh.
discussed so much. Anything else you want to plug? Where can people find you if they don't follow you already?
My socials is just at the Sean O'Donnell. My Twitter, my Instagram, just my name spelled. And my Facebook is the only thing that's different, which is Sean O'Donnell Official, which I'm still salty about. But we'll get past
There's
it.
some
That's
other
like me
Sean
and my
O'Donnell.
Instagram.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, isn't there was one
That
other?
one guy has mine.
Yeah.
And he has one picture, and he hasn't posted ever in years, and it just...
Let's just call Mark Zuckerberg about that, I think.
I had the same thing because at the Sean O'Donnell kills me because it sounds so pretentious and I want to just like throw myself out this window.
I've always joked about that, where I've always thought about that, where when people have those kind of like parts in their handle, like, or I feel like is another one, or like real.
Yep.
Like real Sean O'Donnell.
Yep.
That always
I get Sean O'Donnell, some guy in Portland just won't give it up.
Yeah.
Your
Rude.
sister's doing videos. We were just talking about your sister. Doesn't
Yes.
She's starting to do like...
Yes.
Yeah, like a food
Cooking
channel,
food.
right?
She is. My sister is just an immensely talented pastry chef. She just graduated from the Culinary Institute of America in Northern California.
Wow.
In Napa Valley, which is
That's
very
awesome.
prestigious.
Yeah, that sounds...
She's the first of our family to graduate college, so
Shout
shout out to Grace. Yeah, exactly. Very proud day.
So do you get to try her... Are you like her guinea pig?
Everything. Yeah, so she, like the point of the school is like she can get a pretty good job like
Right
anywhere,
away, yeah.
really. Yeah. And she was like, that means I'd have to wake up at like 4 a.m. to
Yeah.
bake bread every single day, and she's 19.
That's the downside.
So, well, now she's 20. Woof, weird. And she was like, no, I'm just gonna. We came up with this idea. Might as well try making some YouTube videos based around baking and cooking, because like she at least has a foot in the door with myself and my friends and all that stuff. So 2 weeks ago, we started her channel, and she makes the best stuff, and I just have to eat it, and
Yeah.
it's so sad. Like today, I go home and she's making donuts from scratch, and
Forget
it's
Dunkin'
terrible.
when you got
Yeah, I
home
know,
made.
right?
I mean, we don't like to eat here, but she can come in anytime.
Yeah, exactly.
Our address is we're
Yeah.
located at...
Our leasing office loves us because we just bring them down to all the leasing agents in
Yeah.
our apartment building, and yeah, it's bad.
That's like one thing I always thought would be so fun. I don't know if I could do it forever for a living, but to bake would be like be an apprentice for like a month or something would be so much fun.
All my family are chefs, and my parents have a restaurant, and my brother runs a restaurant, so I'm the only one not in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was always surrounded by very, very good food.
Coming back to It's Complicated, and It's Complicated, she owns that pastry shop, and when
just
her,
need to go watch
when
this
her
movie.
and Steve Martin make the chocolate croissants,
Yep.
like one of the best movie
Yep.
scenes of all time. So where can people find your sister's channel?
It is just Goodies by Grace, or Grace O'Donnell on YouTube.
Google it, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's the internet. It's handy.
That's
yeah, exactly.
so fun.
So,
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And you can find us at instant.me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. And if you would be so kind as to rate and review and subscribe and all of
Absolutely.
that good stuff. Thanks for joining us. We will see you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye.